All right, do you know what one of the worst things you can do is, creators? One of the worst things, I'm going to tell you right now, one of the worst things that you can do. I don't know if you do this, but when I do a live stream on Instagram, I take a photo first, a selfie, you've heard of it. And then I go into my stories and I put a caption of the live stream on it, which today, if you missed it, is just sad that it's not going to be a problem. It's one of my answers to many conundrums that you might have as an entrepreneur. Like somebody asked me today a question, which I've actually answered this question many times over the years and also for myself, which is, how do I structure it or like figure it out if I realize I'm going to have two different brands? You know, like what is the creative genius way to ensure that I'm kind of attending to both, but then maybe it's going to be just a mind, you know, soup sort of a situation. And I said, the only answer to this question is you just decide that it's not going to be a problem. Like you don't even concern yourself with it. But I also applied the decide it's not going to be a problem philosophy many moons ago, about, I don't know, well over a decade worth of them, to a situation where I had an inordinate amount of tax and credit card debt at the time. I'd been making money. I was always making money since I rolled out of the womb. Some of us just came that way, prepackaged. It is what it is. But I hadn't managed my money very well as an adult, so I didn't have a lot to show for it. You know, I had to learn that. I had to sit myself down and get some discipline around money. I recommend it. Do you know what I did? We've got tangents happening, people. We are opening doors here. We're opening loops all over the place. I'm not going to promise that they're all going to close. If you really want me to close one, you're going to have to remind me what I said. But do you know what I did and how I actually became a just next level, thank you Lord, genius around financial management? P.S. check out my new iPhone 15. I'm on two other phones in front of you right now that are not the new iPhone 15 because I have managed to set it up, but I didn't bother to log into my socials. It seemed like too much effort after all of it. I swear they make the phone start glitching when the new one comes out. It's just reality. So anyhow, I applied fitness discipline. It's what you should do. I was thinking to myself, woman, you are a royal mess around your financial management in this season of my life. And I thought, what am I going to do? I thought I have no idea where to start to really understand wealth. I definitely knew how to make money, like I said, but I didn't seem too good at holding on to it. It was like slipping through my fingers like sand. I didn't even know where it had gone most of the time. I wasn't buying stuff, you know, like I had just everything was kind of shitty that I owned, but I would spend the money on mentoring and like education and books, a lot of books, but how many hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of books can you have? I guess it depends whose books you're buying. So anyhow, I thought I just need to apply some basic discipline. And I thought, well, this was so long ago. I thought I'm in great shape. And really people think that takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and it doesn't. It's just the consistency, right? And I thought, on average, when I go do a workout, it's like 40 to 45 minutes, sometimes less, sometimes more, but let's say 45 minutes, however many times a week. And I thought, I'll just apply that same philosophy to money. I'll sit myself down for 45 minutes a day with a timer, and I'll figure out how to understand money and how to attend to it and give it an energy and a focus such that I'm taking good care of it. I'm stewarding it well, not just making it, and that it grows, and that I'm actually, you know, quote unquote on top of it all. And I sat there that first day and I thought, I literally have no idea what to do. Like I didn't have any, you know, financial like wisdom around the management of it. But literally because I created the time and the space and I just decided it's just show up, everything changed within such a short period of time, purely from giving it attention. And one of the things that I did during that time, I had all this debt. I had $147,000 of debt at the time. And I had been trying to battle out how to deal with that for however long, and it just seemed never ending. You know, it seemed relentless. And I decided it's not going to be a problem. I literally just decided, you know what? I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to pretend that it's not a problem. And what I am going to do instead, though, is attend to whatever I'm being shown that's in front of me. Like, what is the true next move that I should make? So I don't mean I was head in the sand actually at all, but I wasn't giving it attention as far as worry, fear, oh my gosh. And I also wasn't trying to like magic up some kind of overnight solution. You know, I wasn't trying to actually be like delusional about it. I think there's a time and a place for delusion as a creative. That time and the place is pretty frequently, actually. But with some things, it's like, stop it. Stop trying to fix it all at once, or think that you should be ashamed of yourself or something's inherently wrong with who you are if you don't just fix it all at once. Set it aside. Decide that it's no longer a problem that you've got all this debt. It's not like you're about to be snatched up and thrown into a prison cell for it. You know, nothing terrible is actually going to happen. It just feels like this massive, scary, you know, all-consuming sort of thing. So what you should do is ignore it, decide that it's no longer a problem, and then just take the next step that's in front of you, which for me was literally like creating myself little spreadsheets and starting to actually attend to where money was and, you know, what bills I had to pay and what I owed and what my dreams and desires were as well, though. And what I was really doing was just aligning move by move, moment by moment, in the direction of being somebody who had good money management skills, who expected to have overflow, who expected to pay all her bills on time or before they were due, who decided that she was allowed to have an excess and abundance and an overflow. And so there was all this kind of like self-worth stuff and stuff to do with how I grew up that had to be, you know, addressed at the time. But it was actually just a really simple matter of, do today's work today. What is the actual next step that's in front of you, rather than, oh my gosh, the sky's falling, I have to figure out all this stuff or deal with all of this stuff. So that's where the title of today actually came from, because it was a conversation that I had during that time, which was, I don't know, sometime well over a decade ago, where I said to my accountant at the time, which also happened to be my brother, whose calls that I had been ignoring for like 6 months because I didn't want to talk about my tax payments. And then I finally called him and he was so happy that he thought I was going to finally be reasonable. And I said to him, I've decided what the solution is of how I'm going to address all this tax debt. And he tells this story. He thought that I was going to, I don't know, that I have figured out some master plan or something. And I said, I've decided that I'm going to pretend that it's no longer a problem. And he said that was the moment where it was like, she's actually lost it. Like, she's actually certifiable. It's not just that the family thinks that she's kind of crazy and strange and different. She's actually lost it. But he told that story at an event that I ran in 2018 down in Melbourne. And he told it from a perspective of the fact that that debt was then cleared in like under a year, and my entire business reality shifted and changed, and I had an overflow continually from then on out. And it really was because I decided to stop putting attention and energy onto a problem or a perceived problem, and I was watering it, because what you water is going to grow. Little philosophy for you this morning. That's for somebody. You can tell me if it's you. So I started to talk about that. Oh, here's what you should never do. Do you know what I did? I was making the story cover for the live stream. So I took a photo, took a selfie, and I put the caption of it in the story, and then I save it so that when the Instagram live's finished, I'll upload the cover so that you can see the title on the grid. And then when I took the selfie, I did one of these ones. I was like, because that was the mood that I'm in. And then I looked at it and I nearly deleted it, because I was like, here you go again with the silly face and the pouty lips or whatever. And I thought, there's been a time I scrolled through my own grid and all I see is these stupid faces where I'm always kind of like, I'm doing like a weird face. And so then I started critiquing and judging myself, and I was thinking, imagine if my future husband comes to my Instagram and he's like looking through and he's like, who even is this chick where she's always just making these weird expressions and looking up to the side? Like, maybe she thinks she's whatever. And then do you know what I said to myself? I was like, you need to get a grip, because whoever it is that you're going to be marrying is going to be happy about who you are and not going to be judging or critiquing you based on whether or not you pulled the same weird face pose on Instagram multiple times. Literally the stuff that goes through my head. Please tell me I'm not the only one, ladies. But actually, whether or not you're thinking about, is my future husband going to be looking at this and maybe I should finally find a different facial expression, the reality is that's my face. That's how I look at my children, my friends, anyone, all the time. You're going to get that face if you're dating me. You're going to get it quite a lot. So it is what it is. All right. But whether you're thinking that sort of stuff, or whether you're thinking, I don't know, what people in general are thinking, do you know what you should not do? You should never be allowed to. It should be like a criminal offense, or at least a slap on the wrist, like a I don't know, minor that stole a luxury car and that's all they get because it's Queensland. I've heard of it. What you should not be doing, I'm not the only crazy one, Vanessa said, good to hear. What you should not be doing is critiquing, filtering, editing your own content. Nothing wrong with a little Instagram filter if you're in the mood for it. Oh my gosh, funny story. Somebody goes through the other day. somebody quite close to me, I won't say who was like, show me a photo of themselves. I'm like, yeah, it's a nice photo. It's just really quite heavily filtered. Like it's a bit obvious sort of thing. It's just too much filter. And she's like, it's not a filter. There's no filter. I'm like, that's a filter. She's like, that's not a filter. That's just the beauty filter. I'm like, that's literally a filter. Have we evolved now to a point where if it's just the beauty filter, then it's not a filter and it's now like, that's just normal and that's real. Okay, this is a filter. This is a filter. All right, this is probably like the beauty filter. I don't know what filter it is. But I think what she meant is like, unless it's a filter that exaggerates your lips or your lashes or some part of you, then it's not a filter. And now it's just like, that's reality now. Anyhow, what was I up to? You should not be critiquing, editing, adjusting, apart from a filter that you feel like using, but you should not be critiquing or editing your own content in any way, shape or form. I've said this for years and I'm going to say it to you right now because somebody definitely needs to hear this one. You are not the editor, the critic, the person who should analyze and decide whether it's good enough, appropriate, right, or too repetitive, your own content. Guess what you're actually achieving if your content is repetitive? Whether it's that you pull the same freaking selfie face all the time, or whether it's, I don't know, whatever that, your message is the same on repeat. I'm saying the same freaking message. I've said this for probably 20 years. I don't even know. This exact line. You're not the editor, the critic, or the judge of your own content. Your job is to let the message out. Your job is not to then take the message, whether it's a video, whether it's an entire course, whether it's a book, a podcast, whatever it is, your TikTok, I don't know, whatever it is. Your job is to not just then take it and start pulling it apart. Does this conform to the current standards of the humans that are apparently in charge of the internet right now? Am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? Is this right? Is this okay? Will you love me? Will you like me? Will you follow me? Are people going to buy this way? Do you know, I so wish that there was some way where we could just click a button or put a filter on a social media app that filters out everybody else's ideas of how business should look and filters out, like blanks your mind, like God forgiving you, where he actually just wipes it away and it's gone, like it literally doesn't exist anymore. I wish there's a way where it could just be removed from you, from any of us, the idea of this is how online business looks, or this is how business on social media looks, or this is what being a content creator requires of you. These are the hoops you should jump through. Now come and do it in an orderly fashion, children. We're doing it all the time. Every single one of us has been guilty of conforming to this. I don't know, guilty is the right word, but you know what I mean, right? It's insidious, it's subtle, it just creeps up on you. The only possible solution is that it is a daily choice for you to turn away from all of the things that really should not be taking up any real estate inside your mind, and get them out of your feed, where you're able to, but just internally turn away from the idea that there is even an idea of how business on the internet looks, or off the internet, or of how content creation looks, or of how being a messenger, a storyteller, a performer, an entertainer looks. It has to be, here it is, this is me today, this is what came through, let's just go, and you're either coming or you're not coming. And it doesn't matter either way, but I'm going to be walking forward in the reality of who God made me to be today. What is it that's coming through me today? What is it I want to say today? How do I want to, present myself if relevant? What have I got going on that I'm going to talk about? What is the message that's coming through today? And also though, facts, exactly, true that. Thank you, Pedro. Hello from Canada. And also though, you got to understand, it's not just the message. I feel like some people have really heard this and got this from me, or wherever you got it from, and you understood that, okay, got to let the message be the message, right? Like the niche is mother freaking me. The niche is you. Yeah, you are the niche. I got it plastered all over the walls here. I got proof here in coaster format somewhere. Where is it? There is it. You are the niche. It does say mofo. That was back in the era of cursing all the time. But the underlying message is still true. You are the niche, all right? So the niche is not your industry. I'm sorry, but it's not. Because even if you love your industry, and that's awesome, good for you, awesome. Have a party with them. Go for a drink. Celebrate each other's wins. It doesn't mean you're all supposed to somehow be some kind of like medium version of each other. Like, am I doing it right? Do I fit the frequency of, I don't know, women who are authors, speakers, coaches, messengers, who are in their mid-40s, who have a bit of a grungy edge? Am I doing it right? Am I fitting into the, you know, badass category? I actually opted out of that category. I can't help it if it's just kind of like how people see me, but I definitely opted out of that category. What if you opted out of all the categories? Black iced coffee, people. It's the way to go. So you can love, you know, a people group, an industry that you align to. That's awesome, because many people don't have that in their life. That doesn't mean you are meant to be some kind of like medium, like a happy medium, you know, like if you put all of you into a blender, like let's say all purpose driven, faith led coaches who are unapologetically going to say what they're going to say, and they're prolific creators and they just happen to have a few things to say. Let's say they got all of that people group, put them all in a blender, put us all in a blender, I should say, all revolutionary leaders, all creative geniuses, all tapped in high performers who know that there's a supernatural thing that they're meant to be doing and letting through here. You can say amen if it's you. But let's say that we were ended up, we all just willingly jumped into a blender, press the button, going to be interesting, and then whatever is poured out, we're all going to be like, that's what we're going to be. We're going to be like a medium version of one another. Yeah, are you fitting the frequency? Are you being the medium of the people group that you've somehow aligned yourself to? Even if you have somehow aligned yourself to pretty much the right type of person for you, and you're like, yep, I'm pretty on point here with who I'm being. I'm nailing the job of being me. Well done. I'm going to have a gold star. Jessica already gave me 2 gold stars today. I'm winning at the gold star game today. So even if you've done that, the reality is, do you know what you start doing? Strawberry banana. Are we coming out as strawberry banana? I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure I would come out as a chili margarita, or like a jalapeno margarita at the very least, you know? I'm not coming out as a strawberry banana smoothie, that's for sure. With some salt, I don't know, what else would we chuck in there? So anyway, you just start adapting though, don't you? You start looking around. How's she doing it? Maybe I should consider content that way. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. Oh my gosh, the endless back and forth conversation. The endless back and forth conversation. Do you know what it reminds me of? It's like the person who joins the gym and then they never go to the gym, or they go like randomly now and again, and they show up now and again. Blueberry banana. I'm sorry, but I'm just like not really happy with these beverage choices that are coming out. If we're identifying as a smoothie, we've got to have some kick in it. Somebody's joining and just going, what have I walked into? Anyway, you're allowed to identify as whatever you want these days, right? Isn't that a thing? I've heard of it. So what was I up to? Oh, people who join the gym and then they don't go, they basically never go, because what's happening is, instead of it being a consistent discipline that I show up for this thing, I put one foot in front of the other and we just kind of see what happens today. Instead of that, it's more of a matter of, do I feel like it? Did I get my period? Did the dog eat my homework? Do I have enough time today? Oh, it's raining. Oh, my clothes are in the wash. Oh, now my friend's not coming, or, you know, whatever thing is going on, and so I can't. And I just used to think, because I was a personal trainer back in the day, oh my gosh, we're going back a fair few days these days, like 25 years ago, 23 years ago or something. And it used to just do my head in, because I would think to myself when people would do this, like clients, well, firstly, after a while, I was like, we're done with this situation. This is not happening anymore. You're either going to shift up or you're shifting out. It is what it is. I can't do it, right? It's not who I'm here for. But in the short term, I would just think, or I would say to people, you're exhausting yourself so much. You're giving so much mental energy and focus and even time to the conversation that you're having in your head about whether or not you're going to show up, or whether or not you feel like it, or whether or not you think that you're capable. If you would have just showed up, it will take you way less energy and time to just do the thing. And it will also give you energy and time all throughout your day. Showing up for your message, your content, your creative flow, your work, you walk forward in the work that you've been given, is really just a matter of, that is who I am. That's my job title. That's what I'm going to do. Now, I know we're entrepreneurs and we're quite, like to feel special about it and not give ourselves the title of having a job. But really, whether or not we're going to get into an argument of whether or not your business is really a job, I think sometimes there is a place to consider that if you don't do your job properly, then just like anybody else, whatever that happens to be for you, whatever is true for it to be for you as an entrepreneur, as a creator, then just like anyone else, you're not going to get paid. And yet for some reason, entrepreneurs collectively, many of, seem to think that whether or not they show up to share the thing that is coming through them, which for an entrepreneur who is a messenger, a leader, a creator, somebody meant to pour forth, that is the primary thing you're meant to be doing as that entrepreneur. It should not be dependent on, do I feel like it? Do I know how? Am I in the right move? Did my selfie hit the mark? Do I feel presentable for a live stream? Am I feeling creative today? You know, is anyone there to hold my hand in case it doesn't work? Blah, blah, blah. It has to just be, I do what I do because it's what I came here to do. It's really not dependent on the weather, my mood, my emotions, or any idea that I have in my head as to whether or not I have anything to say, because your preparation is the way you live your life. And if you are stuck all of a sudden face to face across a coffee table, like over a coffee, with somebody who needed to hear the message that you had to share, and they just started to, you know, share what's on their heart, and it was something relevant to what you're here to speak about or pour forth about, would you or would you not know how to answer this person? Would you or would you not more than likely slip into that flow? Would you or would you not more than likely see or feel or notice that anointing coming over you to where it's not even about you anymore? And the thing that is meant to be said just starts to come out, yeah? So why is it different in the day-to-day of your business? I'll tell you exactly why it's different. Because unlike the gym person analogy where the person is thinking about whether or not they should go, well, it's kind of the same actually, but a lot of the time the entrepreneur is thinking about, well, is this how I'm meant to do it? Do I feel like doing it that way? Maybe I should have moved on by that. Maybe I should have moved into this. Well, these people are all doing this. So now I'm looking at this thing where this person has this many comments, and should I consider that? Should I buy a proper different camera? And maybe I need to set up an official podcast studio. Maybe I need to rebrand my entire website. That's the answer. Let me rebrand everything again. No, you know what? The answer is that whatever the things you're not sure about are, whatever the things that you think you have to figure out, anything that's stopping you from showing up and doing today's work today, you need to decide either it's not going to be a problem, if it's something that you feel like is a problem and that you have to somehow like fix being you or change being you into something more palatable. No, what you need to do instead is decide it's not going to be a problem, put it aside and carry on your way. Or if it's something that's blocking you, stopping you, or causing you to believe that there is a delay that's needed on doing today's work today, you need to call it out as the lie that it is. Lies, right? It is never true that you can't do today's work today. By definition, it's not true, because guess what? It's today, and tomorrow it's not going to be today. It's going to be that today, and you've got to do that today's work today. And ultimately, the way that the business and the life and the money and the impact and the body of work and the legacy and the outpouring that is meant to come through from you will occur is that it will happen in your wake. Do you get that? We are not people who are meant to sit here. I'm so glad to hear it, Evelyn. By the way, everyone watching on replay, please comment, please like, follow if you don't already follow, get those wake up smackdown, you know you need to hear it vibes coming your way on the daily like I do, but leave me a comment because I do like to look at them afterwards, and yeah, the comments disappear once I post it on Instagram as well. But do you know what it's meant to be? There's people out there who are meant to build a business by carefully not like thinking everything through in advance and then following that plan. I don't actually believe that that's really anyone, but some people are more inclined to that than others. And this still has to be adjustment, obviously, for alignment along the way. So this is somebody who's not us, who is going to think about exactly how do I want to build this thing, and they're actually going to enjoy, in fact, they're even going to thrive on the building of the blocks, so to speak. Yeah. And I've got friends who fit this model, and they're just very different kind of creator or entrepreneur to me. And so I really admire that, because what I admire is not the process that somebody's utilizing, but I admire when I see somebody who's in their flow and they're following their true path of alignment. But I have many friends who are marketers and entrepreneurs and creatives who I would honestly want to scratch my eyeballs at every single day with like toothpicks if I had to do what they do to make their money and to build their business, because it's so wildly not suited for me. You know, you can be good friends with someone. It doesn't mean that you want to walk into their wardrobe and wear everything that they wear. I mean, you can probably do it if you had to, but it doesn't mean it's the right fit for you. It doesn't mean that it's aligned for you, but that doesn't mean you can't be great friends or that you can't admire them. You got to realize that when you look around the internet, there's many people who are inspirational, who are doing a really great job of delivering whatever they're delivering, and they're very successful entrepreneurs. That doesn't mean you should be walking into their entrepreneurial closet and wearing whatever they're wearing. It could be completely not relevant for you. But I'll tell you how to really know whose teaching is probably relevant for you, at least some part of it. When you listen to them or hear from them, and if you're in my space then, and you're meant to be in my space, then me, I'm going to be one of those people. Something within you feels loosened. Something within you, you just feel elevated. You feel activated. There's an igniting that occurs. You know, some of us are just fire starters. It is what it is. You know if that's you. But if that's you as it is me, then you got to realize that when you're looking around for what you should do and whether or not it should be this way, or this way, and how you're going to build the thing, what are you doing? You're not stoking that internal fire, are you? In fact, it's gone out. In fact, you're just pouring water on top of it just when it's already dead. And then you're wondering why you don't have creative flow, motivation, why you can't seem to tap in properly, why even if you put so much effort in to creating really curated content, let's say, it doesn't even feel like anything for you. It just feels so whatever. And then whether or not you get any kind of a response to that, it's whatever, right? And you are aware the whole time that there's this thing that should be able to come out of you that is magnetic to your ideal people. It's just magnetic. You don't even have to try. You got to be in that flow lane though for that to occur. And the only way that that can occur is stop trying to build a thing when you came here to be a thing. Because for some of us, the business that is going to be built, which indeed can be an empire, and for those who don't know, my business has produced tens of millions of dollars in my wake. So I've personally made tens of millions of dollars. My clients have collectively made hundreds of millions of dollars. And I've been working less than part-time job hours most of that time, not all of it. There's been times where I definitely put more hours in the earlier years. I've had kids, I've been a single mum, I've got other business ventures, investments and whatnot. And I just pour forth what I want to pour forth, and I just kind of disregard so much of the stuff, most of the stuff that apparently you're supposed to do. And that's kind of was like, I used to just think I'm so lazy or disorganized or whatever, and I would beat up on myself like, you got to get to that, you got to get to that, you got to get to that. And then I realized I was really starting to make real money, and I was like, I still haven't done all these things that you're apparently meant to do. And bit by bit, I just kind of realized, oh, there's a different way. But even then, and even still, I'll find myself like looking around like, oh, maybe I should get really, next level serious. Do you know what it all really comes down to? Being who you're really meant to be, and realizing that for some of us, the thing builds in our wake. And what I mean by that is we just stay the course of being who we're meant to be, say the thing, pour out the thing, do the thing, and then just plug it into whichever places you want to publish it on or repurpose it on or send it out to. Like, don't forget that bit. If you just pour it out all the time at social media, and you're not plugging it into the bigger picture, like legacy pieces that you want to bring to life, then that's going to be a real bee in your bonnet. So say the thing, write the thing, pour out the thing, and then download the freaking thing and put it into the other places where you want it to be, or chop it up and use it for other things. Or if it's a blog, add a bridge and then another blog, and now you got 2 book chapters. Let's stop making everything so complicated, yeah? If you want a podcast, download the audio from your live streams if you like to do live streams. Maybe you don't. So it's very simple, but yeah, you want to say the thing, pour out the thing, do the thing, step 1, and it's got to come from the right place. And step 2, just plug the thing into places. This is literally how it builds. You just show up each day, and then at some point you look around and you're like, look at that. This whole thing was built, but it doesn't get built by you finding the right pieces and, planning out the progression. But what it all comes down to, here's what it all comes down to, and I'm going to finish with this, and I'm going to give you an invite of course. It comes down to faith. It comes down to, am I actually willing to believe that I can step outside of this little box that the internet or a particular people group or my own, fear in my mind has told me that I should stay in, and that this is the way to do it. And as long as I stay within these, edges and walls and make sure that I'm doing the proper little performance and dance within that space, then I'm good and I'm on path. And if I just keep doing it and make sure I keep looking around to see how everyone else is doing their dance, and I just, do it the same or maybe even a little bit better and maybe a little bit more polished, then I'm going to grow, right? Like, isn't that how it works? It's got to be that you wake up one day and you go, I wasn't designed to be in a box. That's just, cliched reality. Some of us just have too many random weird edges and spiky stuff, and it's just not going to work, So you might as well admit it from the get-go and step forward into that place where you realize, well, I'm going to live a life where I'm on the edge. I'm going to live a life where I'm continually saying yes to what is a yes inside of me, my spirit, even if I don't know what that means or what the particulars are. Because it's a yes, not because I know how, not because I have the pathway mapped out, but just because it's what I'm meant to do. So I'm going to give you a 2-part invite now. Number 1, faith on the edge is what it sounds. I love it. Faith on the Edge. It's not faith if it's not on the edge. It's my new low-cost course. It's a 10-day course. It's a very deep dive course, and it's going to start on Wednesday. But the pre-work, which you would just, honestly purchase that course for the pre-work alone, is going to go out today. So this course is home study. You'll have lifetime access. We are covering so much in 10 days. You won't even understand when you read the page how that could possibly be covered in 10 days, but we do a supernatural thing here. So that is at thekatrinaruthshow.com/faith on the edge. Thank you, Sam. She's just dropped a comment over on Facebook. If you're on Instagram, you can go to thekatrinaruthshow.com/faith on the edge. I think Sam's about to drop the comment from my other page. And then though, there's a 2-part invite, like I said. Have you heard of the Secret Garden? The Secret Garden is my membership. It is beautiful. It is phenomenal. It's filled with warrior queens, which are my clients, which is to say you, perhaps you're meant to be there. The Secret Garden was, at first I thought it was a vision that God was showing me for my business, just personal to me. And then a couple of months later, he showed me this is a place, this is the space, this is the space to be, the place to be in my space, low cost for ongoing live coaching. So it's not private, it's membership, but it's all in with me. I teach live every week in the Secret Garden and so much more as well. It's got an incredible lit up active community, and it is for the faith-led entrepreneur. So I partner with the Holy Spirit in teaching in the Secret Garden, also true in Faith on the Edge. It is Holy Spirit led, it is biblically taught purely through the Holy Spirit and through biblical principles. You do not have to be Christian to join. However, I am teaching as a Christian and through a Christian led. So if you are led to join, then let's just say that there is a call there or a desire to understand more what it would mean to walk in faith, to walk with God in your life and in your business. The Secret Garden is the place where all that God has for you will be revealed, and it is for business, for money, for every part of you being you. It's all of it. It is all in, all encompassing. So some weeks I might teach on money the God way, or even automation and leveraging income. Other weeks it's on destiny and identity and purpose. Evelyn says the Secret Garden is a blessing. I'm learning so much from you and all the powerful women there. Thank you, Evelyn. And many, many other topics. So I just said a couple of topics, but you can go to thekatrinaruthshow.com/the Secret Garden, and you'll read some of the recent trainings that I've done there. They're listed further down the page. Now, the reason I'm mentioning that right after I spoke about the 10-day course is because if you're in the Secret Garden, you would receive Faith on the Edge free, because all of my core curriculum courses are given as a gift, just an additional blessing that God led me to give my members in the Secret Garden. The Secret Garden has its own content, it's its own container, its own curriculum, its own live active group ongoing in the membership. But all of my core curriculum courses, which basically means my smaller courses, short courses, anything that might be up to 30 days at times in length, anything up to usually around $400 in cost. Faith on the Edge is significantly lower than that. And I usually have a new live course or a new home study course that is a core curriculum, smaller course every month. So it doesn't include things like signature courses, bigger, longer courses, and of course private mentoring is a whole separate thing. And if you ever wanted to know about one-on-one with me on biz strategy, alignment, identity, purpose, all the things, you can just message me. Okay, so if you're in the Secret Garden, you would receive Faith on the Edge automatically. So how to know? Well, you go to thekatrinaruthshow.com/faith on the edge. Step 1, am I meant to be in this 10-day container with Kat? Do I want to just walk forward and understand what it really means to operate from true faith, from full faith, to have some of the things that have maybe limited me, scared me, or kept me held back, shed and shred and understood, and to have a deeper understanding and knowing through God of what it really means to operate in faith? Then you join Faith on the Edge. If, however, you also go to thekatrinaruthshow.com/the Secret Garden and you see all that God has given me for you in that space in the membership, and you think, I am just ready for the all-in thing. I want to walk with a woman who does teach and lead and live from faith and by the Holy Spirit. I want to be surrounded by other women who are powerfully operating from faith and by the Spirit in their business, in their money, in their life, who are also all on their own individual journeys of having things, come to the surface and need to be addressed that have been tough, scary, traumatic, uncertain, ways in which they've held themselves back, but ultimately who are on a path of wanting to understand and know God more and live through faith in every facet of their business, money, and life. And you want to be in a place where you are supported live, where you can ask me questions anytime, where I teach live every week, where there's tons of additionals and so on that I won't go into here. then the secret garden would be for you. Now is a great time to join, of course, because then you will not pay separately for Faith on the Edge, but I do open it periodically. So the secret garden link once more is at thekatrinaruthshow.com/the secret garden. Some of the bonuses and so on are listed on the page. I'm actually always adding new things, so I don't even really try and keep the page up to date because there's always more things than what I say on there once you actually join. Okay, there we go. I hope this message hit home for you today. Just decide that the things that are getting in the way of you being you are no longer going to be a problem. Dismiss, disregard, no thank you, opt out, unsubscribe, goodbye, and continue forward with the next step that you are led to take to share and pour forth a thing if that's what you came here to do. And if one of those next steps that you're meant to take is to join me, then go and do that. I will drop links in the description after this live stream is uploaded. Any questions, you know where to find me. My DM door is always open. And do not forget, life is now. Press play.